right now. We are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick here with Katie Greifeld, taking you through to that closing bell. It's a global simulcast. Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec join us now. Welcome to our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms, television, radio, our partnership with YouTube. You guys had a day off yesterday. We still actually had our simulcast without you, but you come back today here, green across the screen.
You were there
as we
solo
head towards the closing bell.
for a little while.
A little while. I mean, Romaine was there earlier in the day. I was there later. It's key man risk. You know, you don't want to have us in the same place.
There was no day off. There was no day off.
We were there
It was
twice.
a busy day at Invest. We were there in the morning doing panels. We came back here. Tim did crypto show.
I'm so glad you said crypto.
Then we went back down and did a 3-hour show.
I'm so glad you said crypto, Carol.
Yeah.
You type in CRYP, go on the terminal.
Oh, boy.
There's a lot of buying happening right there. Bitcoin up 7.5%.
Everybody
it's above
in-
$73,000 right now.
Everybody in the crypto pool again.
Can we show it? IRL?
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, RIP to crypto IRL. But it's interesting because you're seeing the crypto equities.
Kyle watches the show.
Crypto equities reacting even more than that. You take a look at Coinbase, one of the big winners on the day. But it's interesting, though. You think about all the churn that we're seeing this week. The S&P 500, even though we are seeing that big rebound today, we're pretty much flat on the week.
We should point out, too, we're actually going to get several earnings after the bell tonight. That includes Broadcom, of course, one of the biggest companies in the S&P 500. But obviously, that chip maker, a lot of people really looking for some more clues as to the durability here of the AI spend and that AI trade. You get some clapping and cheering, and you actually have reason to clap and cheer here on this Wednesday afternoon. All of the major indices in the United States are going to be closing in the green. Pretty healthy gains that have effectively, for most of them, erased the losses that we saw from yesterday. Dow Jones Industrial Average up more than 20 points, or about 0.5%. The S&P adding more than 50 points, or 0.8%. The Nasdaq Composite up about 1.3%, and the Russell 2000 in on the action, adding about 28 points, or 1.1%.
All right, back to the S&P 500 I go, and 284 names in the index gaining ground on this Wednesday. 217, Katie, to the downside, 2 unchanged.
Well, let's talk to the circle about what we're seeing there. You can see there is a lot of green on the screen when it comes to the sector level breakdown. Your big winner in terms of percentage gains was consumer discretionary, higher by 2.2%. as a sector. Big tech, though, information technology, also a mighty contributor there, higher by about 1.3%. In terms of what didn't perform on the day, energy, of course, that's where a lot of the volatility this week has been emanating from, down about 0.7% as a sector, Carol.
All right, guys, let's go to some of the individual gainers, if I may. We talked about crypto getting a bounce back here in today's session. A couple of names benefiting as a result. Coinbase, actually, your number 2 gainer in the S&P 500, Nasdaq 100, up about 15% here. So you saw gains. This had to do with President Trump. There were some reports from Politico that the president met privately yesterday with Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, citing 2 people with knowledge, meeting coming ahead of a post that we got from the president late yesterday, pushing for passage of that market structure bill when it comes, when we're talking about the crypto market. Unclear what was discussed at the meeting, but we also had the President Trump posting about the powerful crypto agenda, and he kind of criticized banks about undermining and jeopardizing that powerful crypto agenda, and he went on and on social. But nonetheless, you did have many names in the crypto area. Coinbase up 14%. You had Strategy up about 10%, and you had Circle remain up about 5.5%. I know we have some earnings.
I'm just going to interrupt here. Software company Okta. This is mostly about identification management software. The shares oscillating between gains and losses. The company for the most recent quarter did post adjusted EPS of about 90 cents a share. That's about 5 cents more than what the street was looking for. Revenue jumped by about 12% to $761 million. That's also a beat. The street was looking on average for roughly about 750. Here's your guidance for the full year 2027, the fiscal 2027. Revenue in a range of 3.17 to 3.19. The low end of that range is the average of street estimates. EPS adjusted $3.74 to $3.82 is the guidance they're giving. The street on average was looking for 3.66.
All right, cool. We'll continue to watch that one in the aftermarket. Right now down almost about 2.5% Okta, so we'll keep an eye on that one for you. Back to, I mentioned the crypto space. That was certainly gaining in today's session. Moderna, number one gainer in the S&P 500, a gain of about 16% here. This is after the company agreed to pay Genevant. It's a subsidiary of Roivant Sciences and Arbutus, $950 million basically to settle litigation related to the delivery technology behind its COVID shot. That at issue was essentially claims that Moderna had infringed on patents owned by these two companies. And so nonetheless, basically bottom line, the settlement really getting rid of a major financial litigation risk for Moderna. So we did see investors moving back into that one. The stock, I don't know if you guys noticed, we talked about this earlier with the Avalon Purnell. It's up about 100% year to date, still 19% of the float short, but it's definitely had quite a bounce back, still way off from its post-COVID levels. And then I just want to mention Ross Stores. This one too rallying about 8% in today's session. This after the company, off-price apparel and home accessories retailer reported comp sales growth for the fourth quarter of 9%. So that easily beat the consensus growth estimate of just under 5%. So we did see some upbeat. Telsey analyst Dana Telsey upgrading the stock to outperform from market perform and raise the price target to 240 from 220. Stock closing at 213 and change in the Wednesday trade. Tim?
All right, let's go to some of the decliners on the day today. I want to start with the Mosaic Company, down 2.9%. This was a late mover after we learned the Justice Department is investigating several leading producers of commercial fertilizers, Mosaic among them, for possible civil and criminal antitrust violations. The probe examining companies' pricing practices and the investigations in the early stages and being run out of the DOJ Antitrust Division's Chicago office. Mosaic down by 2.9%. Brown-Forman among the worst performers in the S&P 500 today on a percentage basis, down close to 7%. You know what they make, Romaine?
Yes, I do. I'm a fine customer of theirs.
The Herradura tequila or the Jack Daniels?
I don't know what that first one you said there.
Oh,
I love the
tequila.
accent. Good job.
Okay. The company actually reported quarterly results that surpassed estimates. The problem, though, was the executives who flagged stubborn weakness in the U.S. spirits market.
Yeah.
The company's conference call, CEO said that while performance has improved in the U.S., quote, it's still not great. I do not want to declare that it's bottomed out, but over the last couple of months, the numbers have improved. This is according to Lawson Whiting, the company's CEO. Oh, okay. Do we have time for a couple more, guys?
No.
Let's talk about American Eagle really quickly.
All right, go
Tim.
ahead.
Breaking
Go
news
ahead with the breaking
when it
news.
comes to the earnings front. Fourth quarter net revenue actually beating estimates when it comes to American Eagle. That's number coming in for net revenue at $1.67 billion for the fourth quarter. The estimate had been for $1.74 billion, so a slight beat there. Meanwhile, you take a look at some of the expectations. They see first quarter operating income between $20 million to $25 million. The estimate had been for $15 million here. Looking for some more numbers, but 2027 CapEx seen between $250 million to $260 million. The estimate had been actually for more than $400 million, so below expectations there. But you can see the stock higher by about 7.6%. So clearly, traders cheering this in the after hours, though this stock down more than 15% year to day through today's close.
All right, what really goes well with that tequila that Tim pronounced so eloquently is some Cracker Barrel. And that stock is definitely rallying in the aftermarket, up about 5.2%. It's been on a tear. It's up about 20% so far in 2026. Let's go to it. Second quarter adjusted EPS, 25 cents a share. That compares with an expected and estimated loss of 27 cents a share. So we'll make sure that that number is on the, that seems like quite a turnaround. Company also talking about the fiscal year adjusted EBITDA, 85 million to 100 million. It had seen 70 to 110 million. So bringing that one in a little bit. Second quarter revenue, 874.8 million, folks. That is a beat, 868.9 billion. And again, an outlook for revenue for fiscal year, for the fiscal year, 3.24 billion to 3.27 billion, had seen 3.2 to 3.3. So nonetheless, investors like it. It's up about 6%. So again, maybe with that tequila, it might go well.
Nice. All right. Cracker Barrel margarita. I could get behind that.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, why not?
I guess so. A margarita's a margarita, I guess. Depending on the tequila.
Aren't you a snob?
Wait. Come on, you know it's true.